Yo ho ho da Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of NFL Power Rankings. It's week 15, and this is typically a controversial video, especially since I've been starting to slowly gather several viewers from other fan bases, and 9 times out of 10, I always at least get a couple of DMs saying, Dan, how about you go f*** yourself for not putting the Washington football team in the top 10. It happens all the time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie to you. Second thoughts. The majority of you know that I start my videos off with yo ho ho. And while I was cooking dinner, I had the epiphany. How appropriate with the holidays coming around the corner. Da Mafia, here we are. Week 15 power rankings. There were a lot of upsets in week 14. Let's put it that way. A lot of great teams ended up getting beat by lackluster teams, and it's been that way for the past couple of weeks. So as you can imagine, the top 10 is frankly a cluster right now. Without further ado, let's just go on ahead and let's dive into it. Starting off, number 10, the Cleveland Browns. Yes, I totally understand that they ended up losing a heartbreaker to the Baltimore Ravens last night during Monday Night Football. But ladies and gentlemen, this team was in a straight up shootout with the Baltimore Ravens, and it came down to a last-minute Justin Tucker field goal. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, in my opinion, they have the best running game in football with Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Very difficult to stop one of them, let alone both of them. And Stefanski has done a tremendous job of making them the focal point of that offense. Their problem is their defense. Unless your name is Myles Garrett, this entire unit has been struggling tremendously, specifically the secondary, who has been plagued by injury after injury and overall inconsistent play. The Browns, in my opinion, their path to the playoffs is obviously going to be through the wild card, but once you look at the Ravens' remaining schedule, it might be a little easier said than done. I did start off this season saying that I predicted that there was going to be 3 teams from the AFC North that would make the playoffs, so let's see if I'm right. Number 9, the Baltimore Ravens. Listen, Lamar's poop game will go down in history right next to Michael's flu game and whatever other game that you could imagine. Now, I know that it's not confirmed that he had to poop, but I've walked to the toilet where I was prairie dog in a time or two, okay? And I know that walk, and that walk was clearly a walk before you had to take a giant shit. But I digress. He played fantastic. This offense is still running on all cylinders. I know that they ended up going through a slow spurt. They were struggling against particular defenses that were somewhat good at stopping the run, but I do see the Ravens starting to get back to their form of 2019. They have a huge benefit of having an absolute cakewalk of a remaining schedule, and as long as their defense can step it up a little bit and start stopping some of these more high-powered offenses, if they make the playoffs, then I think they will just be fine. That and maybe add a little bit more creativity to your offensive play calling, and I think the Ravens are going to be A-okay. Number 9 is where they sit. Number 8, the Tennessee Titans. Listen, when you give the ball to Derrick Henry, good things happen. Once again, the dude man not only gave me close to 38 points for my fantasy playoff game, advancing me to the semifinals. Thank you, Derrick. This entire offense was absolutely blowing up between Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown. Tannehill is still playing great football. This offense is an offense, frankly, that I would rather not face in the playoffs. However, their defense has been struggling. Right as a Bills fan, I try to look at their performance against the Buffalo Bills earlier on this season. I haven't seen that from them the rest of the year. Their secondary has been struggling tremendously, and so their 2 supposed pass rushers in Vic Beasley and Jadeveon Clowney have not registered a single sack all year, hence why the Titans have been seen to struggle on the defensive side of the ball so far this season. Still think that they're a tremendous team. I still think that they are going to make the playoffs. I'm not so sure that they're going to win the division. The Colts are a good team, but only time will tell, and hence why the Titans are landing at number 8 this week. The Indianapolis Colts. There were so many questions going into it. How is Phillip Rivers going to perform in this Colts offense? And let's just put it this way. Mr. Jonathan Taylor, the rookie, who I really wanted in the draft, let's keep that duly noted, had an amazing game. And if they can continue to establish the run game the way that they did their past matchup, then things are going to be fine, especially with that offensive line that they have. It definitely helps that DeForest Buckner was back as well, completely terrorizing opposing offensive lines. And T.Y. Hilton rose from the grave the past couple of weeks and is finally being a focal point of that offense by itself. They're a very, very good team. I do foresee them winning their division. And I suppose only time will tell. The LA Rams. The reason the Rams are amazing, right? And it's definitely not because of their offense, right? I personally think that Goff is entirely overpaid. I think that their offense has some issues, particularly when it comes to their pass attack. I mean, Mr. Akers blew up. Congratulations, Rook. You did your thing. But what's making this team scary is their damn defense, dude. They're legitimately only allowing an average of 18.9 points per game, and they're second in the league for takeaways. When you have a squad with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, amongst several other key players on the defensive side of the ball, things are just going to do well for you. This team, in my opinion, is the best team in the NFC West, and I see them winning a couple of playoff games. And if I was a head coach of another NFC team, I would not want to face them in the playoffs. Number 5, the New Orleans Saints. I totally understand that the supposed top-ranked rush defense in the entire NFL, they allowed 2 100-yard rushers this past Sunday against their loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. But make no mistake, the Saints are still amongst the elite in the NFC. They are the second-best team in the NFC. I'm going to go on ahead and just put it out there right now. I mean, honestly, when you can go on a 9-game win streak and win several games without your starting quarterback, they've already done it 2 years in a row. That just goes to show you how much depth this damn team has. And you have a running back in Alvin Kamara. I mean, you have playmakers left and right. You have 3 quarterbacks on that team. So this team is going to win their division, and I have a feeling that they are also going to win a couple of playoff games this year. But I'm going to digress from that real quick because we haven't touched on and so who the best team in the NFC is, and we will get there. Number 4, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, the demise of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just kidding. I honestly don't mind the Steelers. Like, their fans have never really been trolls of mine. They just love good football, man. Like, listen, I'm from Buffalo, so I know what a blue-collar city is like. Pittsburgh is essentially our brother. Let's put it that way. But this team, right? Their defense, it's fantastic. It really is. Their secondary is amazing. It definitely hurt that Bud Dupree is out. It definitely hurt, and it definitely hurt with other key injuries that have been plaguing their defense so far, but still a solid unit. The Steelers' issue is solely the fact of their lack of creativity in offensive play calling. The first couple of weeks, actually, scratch that. The first 11 weeks, the Steelers were dominating this short pass routine, right? But now, once they realize that defenses are starting to prepare for that, they're absolutely blowing up these plays. They're not getting yards after the catch. They refuse to change up their scheme whatsoever. It doesn't help that they can't run the ball. Right at the beginning of the season, the reason that short pass game worked was just because they were able to run the ball. And as far as Connor is concerned, as far as Snell rate is concerned, they just can't seem to be finding these open lanes, hence why Big Ben's short pass game is not working. Say that we were to rewind 5-6 years ago and we had the Big Ben of old, and so that guy that would legitimately stiff-arm pass rushers and bomb it down the field, then yeah, for sure, we would definitely be in trouble. The Steelers would be 13-0 at this point, but he's just not that quarterback anymore, and while they have several weapons, they need to switch up their offensive play calling, because once you get into the playoffs, let's just put it this way, these defenses are going to know exactly how to prepare for you. Number 3, the best team in the NFC, the Green Bay Packers. Now, let me tell you what. When the Packers drafted Jordan Love, the only thing I picture in my mind is that meme of Michael Jordan with his legs crossed saying, "And I took that personally." Just paste Aaron Rodgers' face over that. This guy, I feel like the second that draft pick occurred, he's been playing, in my opinion, probably the best football of his career at his age too. This offense is damn scary between Jones, between Devontae Adams. Imagine if Aaron Rodgers got his way and they got him an actual playmaking receiver in the first round. What would have happened there? What would have happened? But same with MVS. He's really going on ahead, and he's really stepping into his own. I do know that some Packers fans weren't necessarily happy with his performance right in the beginning of the season, but he's really turning it around. This offense is absolutely amazing. Weaknesses on this team, they're special teams, man. Besides Mason Crosby, who's been, I'd say, the second best kicker in the entire NFL, right below Justin Tucker, the rest of special teams has been screwing them over. They really need to polish that up. And then same goes with their defense. They've been good at times, but relatively inconsistent. But as long as Aaron Rodgers can go on ahead and just continue to do what he did and the Packers can avoid injury, then things are going to be looking very, very good for them. Number 2. You already know what it is, baby. You already know what it is. The Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills. Yo, damn, this is a Bills channel. You're such a homer, bro. You're really saying the Bills are number 2? Yes, I am. And so legitimately, ladies and gentlemen, I think the reason why the Buffalo Bills ended up having a complete game this past Sunday night, like, let me tell you what, I have not seen a more complete game from this team in 25 years. Let's put it this way. 25 years have not seen a more complete game from this team. The offense, once again, it is going to prove each and every single time that Stephon Diggs was worth a first-round draft pick. Shit. He would have been worth 2 first-round draft picks, in my opinion, but let's just go from there. This guy has completely opened up the Buffalo Bills playbook. Josh Allen has made improvements that most analysts would say were impossible to make, and he did. His accuracy has improved tremendously. He's in the high 60s. He just ended up breaking records for the most total touchdowns in Bills history. This offense is absolutely booming. Same with Cole Beasley. And watch out, John Brown's coming off of the IR this week and is eligible to play on Saturday against the Broncos. What makes it even better is the fact that the Bills defense is slowly starting to resemble the 2019 Buffalo Bills defense. Keep in mind, we had our struggles so far this year, but the thing with the Bills is we always had some key injuries. And the Bills are pretty damn healthy right now on defense, and it's showing. The Buffalo Bills are a scary team. They are. And I mean, I'm legitimately just trying to say this objectively. The Buffalo Bills are Super Bowl contenders. And as a Bills fan, I am super thrilled. All right, last but not least, this should not be a surprise to anybody, the Kansas City Chiefs. Guys, this offense is amazing. And so this doesn't even need to get into like deep analysis at this point. And so I totally understand that they lost a nail biter against the Miami Dolphins, and the Dolphins ended up picking Mahomes off 3 times. But he still ended up, throwing for 400 yards, and he got his team the dub, especially when he was down by a pretty big deficit. Mahomes just came in for the answer. It's funny because Travis Kelce leads the league in receiving yards, and he's a tight end. Same with Tyreek Hill. He's having an incredible season. They just have weapons upon weapons upon weapons on that team. And then this offense is the reason why they are the number 1 team. Now, don't get me wrong. They definitely have their share of struggles. Their defense is not necessarily where it needs to be. Say that they face an actual good quarterback, then they've had their struggles not only in the secondary, they're having trouble sort of stopping the run as well. But once you end up having an offense like that, you're going to be A-OK. I am very interested to see how the rest of the season plays out for this Kansas City Chiefs team. And so, hey, Del Mafia, I always get DMs asking me, yo, Dan, how can I support your channel? How can I support your channel? Well, let me tell you what, guys. The best way to support my channel is simply by watching my videos and smashing the ever-living out of that like button. That is by far the best way that you can support me. But if you ever want to go the extra mile, you can either visit my Patreon and choose a monthly or yearly tier, or you can check out my merch that is featured below this video. One more thing that's entirely free. Me and former safety Aaron Williams started our own podcast a little earlier this season, and It is funny, guys. Honestly, it is a football podcast, but I would say that it's almost like a comedy football podcast. It's absolutely hysterical. Say that you were to subscribe to either Spotify or Apple Podcasts and support that and listen to it. It would mean the world to both Aaron and I. So definitely appreciate that, guys. And so this week should be wildly interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to football this week. Saturday and Sunday games. My liver may never forgive me, but here we are. Dom Mafia, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another edition of NFL Power Rankings. And above all else, let's go Buffalo.